Good morning, families. Welcome to our 4V Ignites. We are thrilled to have you here, and we're really excited to share this with everybody. Just to give you a little bit of background on an Ignite, our format is a 1 and 45-second presentation from each of the students. And what you will see in here is not just straight facts from the American Revolution, but more of the students' process and reflection inside the Reading and Writing American Revolution unit. So you will see pictures of them doing specific project work, like political cartoons and debate work, note-taking on research boards, boat building, of course, and their experience getting ready for this Ignite, as well as some read-aloud and research work that they did in small groups and independently. We are super excited that you guys could be here to see this. I think you're going to be very impressed and proud to see all of the hard work that went into this, and we really hope you enjoy it.
Hello, my name is Jake, and welcome to my Ignite about my experience with the American Revolution unit. This unit was super fun, but also pretty challenging. Specifically, I found it hard to communicate with group members. I had to work on a project throughout the unit. That project was a research board. We took all the information we learned and put it on the board. By the end of the unit, it was filled up with tons of information. The favorite part of the American Revolution is the Battle of Bunker Hill. I like it so much because the colonists killed a lot of British redcoats, and that cost King George a lot of money. Even though they didn't win the battle itself, I'd still call that a pretty big win. Doing the debate was really fun, but also too easy for me, since I had to support the Patriots. The Loyalists put up a good fight, but I think my team's argument won in the end. We got to build a boat out of real wood, but it was pretty challenging because we had to work out in the sun for 30 to 45 minutes each day. But in the end, we finished the boat and it looked amazing. I got to do political cartoons. They were pretty easy to make, but definitely funny. Since I worked with my friend Eli. Since we did not have a peach crown, we made everyone look like they ate too many carrots. Overall, this unit was super fun, but super hard, but definitely my favorite, because we got to do a debate, build a boat, fill up a research board, but most importantly, meet this Ignite. Thank you for listening. I'm going to be talking about my researching group debate, build, what I found interesting, and my process of the American Revolution. I hope you enjoy. Working with a group was pretty hard. Arguing, agreeing, John, etc. But I love working with people overall. In my group was Jake, Reese, Eli, Al, and me. I loved working with me because I was working with friends and just in a group. The process was very fun because I'm very interested in history and wars. At the same time, I found some topics that were not very interesting, like the Boston Massacre and the French and Indian War. You might find those topics the most fun, but this is my opinion. The things I found interesting was most everything about the Boston Tea Party. I loved it so much because we did a whole virtual field trip to see replicas of the 3 ships, the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver. The debate was very fun because I'm very interested in history and wars. At the same time, I found some topics that were not very interesting, like the debate was very fun. I loved working on debate because I was working with a group and I loved making a script with them. It was also hard because it was hard to work on a doc, but I loved the overall speech. The build took the most amount of time. I learned how to use drills, hammers, nails, sandpaper, all the things I'd never used before. The flags were very crowded and we had lots of trouble picking up the names. Overall, I found the American Revolution very fun and interesting. I hope you enjoyed me explaining and telling you my process of the American Revolution. welcome to my dinner. Today, I'll be sharing my process for the American Revolution project.
Hold
This
on,
was-
Cindy, wait 1 second.
Hello, my name is Cindy and welcome to my dinner. Today, I'll be telling you my process for the American Revolution project. This was a researching project and was super interesting to learn about. So, let's get started. First, I thought the Battle of Lexington and Concord was boring because it's named something. It was actually really interesting, especially Paul Reed and Brown. We also had to draw political cartoons. I drafted something about this event. Our teacher read a book called King George. What was his problem? It was an informational book.
Slide, you keep stepping on that.
Our teacher read a book called King George. What was his problem? It was an informational book. It was super funny too. In June, we'll be doing a Zoom with the book's author, Steve Shanklin. I'm really looking forward to it. I didn't like writing notes, especially group note-taking, because we couldn't work some things out. Like it takes some time for us to find a person to write on the research board, and we sometimes get distracted. But as long as we're working, I suppose things will work out. We also had a debate part of the unit where this group of people pretends to be loyalists, and this group pretends to be patriots. I was a patriot. First, I thought it was going to be really boring, but when we did the real debate, I actually thought it was really fun. We also had a part where we were building a ship, one of the ships from the Boston Tea Party. The building process was hard and long, but it was worth it. We usually had to do the same thing, but I could see how much we had done when we were done. After all, this was a really interesting minute, and I liked it a lot. Every event had something special that made it unique. Also, the whole revolution was a big twist in history. My group was helpful for this long unit. And last, thank you for listening to my Ignite.
Hello, my name is Arna, and today I'm going to be reflecting on my research on the American Revolution and how my partnerships as in my debate partners and other American Revolution partnerships went. My revolutionary group is hard to handle because we have trouble agreeing sometimes. We used to goof off for some reason that was behind, but we fixed those problems. Things have been easier to do now because these new topics like the Battle of Lexington and Concord help us agree more. One of my personal favorite acts is the Shot Heard Round the World, which was the beginning of the American Revolution. I loved how one of the Minutemen, or British, fired and it became an epic rage. It made me laugh very hard. Another personal favorite is the Boston Tea Party. I thought it was some boring people who pour some boring tea in the sea, polluting the fish, but little did I know, one crate of tea can weigh up to 400 pounds, and all those crates cost up to $1 million. I was laughing so hard when I saw Andrew Oliver had a doll like himself hanged in a tree. He was freaking out, and how they ransacked his house made me explode into laughter. They called this the Andrew Oliver Act. We are also doing a boat build with Miss Boyer. We get to use drills, hammers, and other extremely epic stuff. We get to build bunches of panels. We also sanded boards and learned how to use drills. It is the best project ever. Overall, I found the American Revolution one of the best social studies projects ever. Also, there was a lot of shooting, so I loved it. Also, sometimes they have clubs and act like cavemen. Thank you for listening to Ignite.
Hello, my name is Anne. Have you ever studied the American Revolution? Well, I have, and I'm going to share my reflection on it. I like doing this unit because we work together. I hope you enjoy my unit. I like doing a research board because we work together in small groups. I thought the fact that everyone took their notes and then summarized it into one post-it was both important and helpful. I also realized that in any group project, if you do your part in it, things will work out. I thought the timeline was a little hard for me because we had to summarize a lot of information into 3 to 5 sentences. When we were researching the Boston Tea Party and Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, I thought it was even harder to summarize because there's so much information, but little and important details. The Boston Tea Party reenactment was pretty cool and interesting because it made me understand more of what it was like to live in the 1770s and looked very different than I imagined. The boats looked very different than they do now. I was also surprised that the tea cargo on the ships was so heavy, almost 400 pounds. I also thought the people on board must have been really cramped because the place where they lived was really, really small. I thought the boat build was really fun, but harder than I first thought. I learned how to use a hammer, drills, screws, nails, and sandpaper. I also thought the debate was fun because my group did both the draft and the speech. I'm also looking forward to meeting the author of King George, What Was His Problem. From this unit, I learned that it's very important to work together whether you're researching or really doing anything. Because if you don't, you might not be able to get enough research or you might be fighting the whole time. I hope you enjoyed my unit.
Hello, my name is Logan. Today I'll be talking about my process of the American Revolution project. Have you ever studied the American Revolution? Well, I have. So for the next 1 minute and 30 seconds, get buckled up to hear more. One of my struggles with the process was taking notes. Taking notes in my notebook was extremely hard. My hand got really tired all the time. The King George and What Was His Problem by stage scientists really helped me because it never let me miss out on any notes whatsoever. Two of my favorite options were the Boston Massacre and the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Both were super exciting parts to read about in the book. Liberty Kids gave great descriptions and also some behind-the-scenes stuff. Using my group was very helpful. My group was Sophie and Nicholas. They helped me by combining notes, making new notes, leaving out notes that weren't so great, and making better notes to fit on our board, and taking out notes that didn't make sense. That's what helped me with my timeline. My timeline, I think, was really cool because you got to add a lot of creativity to your timeline. Once I figured out what I wanted to do, we learned about the 10 main events leading up to the American Revolution. I think the timeline is really cool because at first I never wanted to do it. Now I don't want to stop. As you can see, Bunker Hill Monument is on the screen right now. I went to Boston for a soccer tournament, and I got to see awesome sights like Bunker Hill Monument, USS Constitution, and Old North Church. I even got to see the lanterns. Thank you for listening to my unit, and I hope you enjoyed me telling you about my process of the American Revolution project. I also hope you enjoyed telling you about what I did during this unit. I also hope you enjoyed me telling you some of the facts. Thank you for listening to my unit, and I hope you enjoyed.
Hello, my name is Nicholas. I will be explaining my learning process of the American Revolution, my thoughts on it, and my reflection. It was extremely fun to learn about the American Revolution, so buckle up and let's get started. We each split into groups and we researched and jot notes down on boards organized info. This will be read us a great book called King George, What Was His Problem? That helped us with a lot of our research. I am looking forward with the Zoom today with the author Steve Shannon. We had 3 big projects during the American Revolution. A debate about whether or not colonies should belong to King George, a building project where we had to build a large boat, and an Ignite project where we had to present a process of information. For the debate, we each split into groups. Each team was either a loyalist or a patriot. I was a patriot. The debate was about whether or not colonies should belong to King George. Each team had reasons and evidence for each reason. For the boat build, we had to build a large boat from the Boston Tea Party where the colonists threw 300 crates of tea off a ship. It was really fun, and we made the boats out of wood and screws. It was really exciting also. The Ignite was the hardest project out of all the projects. We had to present 7 slides and a topic for each slide. We had to present the whole thing in 1 minute 45 seconds. It was the worst part of the whole unit. The American Revolution was really fun. I had made so many new skills and made lots of new friends. It was one of the best parts of 4th grade ever. I really wish I could do it again since it was so fun. I hope you enjoyed my Ignite.
Hi, my name is Mia. Today I will share with you my experience while studying the American Revolution. This unit was fun and had lots of parts, so I will share with you the ones that stood out to me most. I hope you enjoy my night. During the American Revolution unit, my favorite part was learning about the Boston Tea Party. I liked learning how the Patriots disguised themselves as Mohawk Indians and how they protested by dumping the tea into the Boston Harbor. Before I learned about the Boston Tea Party, I thought they were actually having a tea party. The most confusing part for me about this unit was learning about the First Continental Congress. I couldn't understand any of the things that people were saying. But even though it was confusing, it was one of the most important and exciting parts also. We read this book called King George, What Was His Problem? I enjoyed this because it was funny but also shared a lot of information. I also liked the pictures on all of the pages because they were funny. We were split up into research groups. My group was Eli, G, Cindy, and Tyson. We researched on our own and then met up and shared our information. Then we wrote our information on Post-its and stuck our Post-its on our research board. This is our way of organizing our information that we got. We did debates in this unit. One side was the loyal side while the other was patriots. I got put on the loyal side, which was a little challenging, but I was able to come up with good reasons with my group. My group was Zach, Anastasia, and Ollie. Learning about the American Revolution was fun. My groups are good and we had a blast learning about this. It's funny to think that this all really happened in the world. Thank you for listening to my Ignite, and I hope you enjoyed.
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my Ignite. I'll talk about the experience that I had about the American Revolution. Also, I'll talk about what I learned. In class, we read a book about the American Revolution. It is called King George, What Was His Problem? It was a funny and interesting book. My favorite part was when the colonists scared the tax collector, Andrew Oliver. They broke his windows. I thought it was funny. We have been looking at a Padlet that has a lot of information, such as articles and videos. There were some videos that were too short, but some that were good, such as the Liberty Kid videos. Our class worked with Ms. Boyer, and he made a new symbol of liberty. We also used hammers and drills. We are building a boat out of wood. It will probably be a big project. Taking notes on the board, on the research board, was hard, and I didn't enjoy it as much as other parts of the unit. I was glad to be in a group, and my group members were very helpful. My group was Charlotte, Anastasia, Ollie, and me. I hope we do a project like this in 5th grade. It is really fun and exciting. We had a debate, which I think was the most fun thing about this project. I had a very fun time doing this project. I got together with a lot of people in a debate. This helped me learn a lot about the American Revolution. Thank you for listening to my Ignite.
Hi, my name is Sophie.
Hold on, no.
I'm Sophie, and today I'm going to walk you through my process of the American Revolution unit. The American Revolution unit had many parts, but here are the ones that stood out to me most and why they stood out.
also the ones I didn't like as much. First thing that stood out to me was the Boston Tea Party. It stood out to me because at first I thought it was an actual tea party, but then I realized that it was actually a bunch of patriots disguised as Mohawk Indians dumping 342 chests of tea into the water. I didn't really like the French and Indian War as much, because there wasn't much action and there also wasn't much to take notes of. I found all the other wars and battles more interesting than the French and Indian War, because there was more action and more to take notes of. I also had a research team. My research team was Nicholas Overton. We were supposed to take notes by ourselves on one of the events and come back together and then combine our notes on a post-it on the research board I'm showing you now. I found this to be really fun because my group worked together and cooperated. I also loved the political cartoon. I loved the political cartoon because it was really fun and there weren't any notes involved. I drew the sharks during the Boston Tea Party. Another event I liked was the Loyalist Patriot Debate. Everyone was either a Loyalist or Patriot and I had a group. Basically, you had to get true information and then debate against the opposing team. In school, all the fourth graders are building their boat. We learned how to use hammers, drills, screws, and nails. It was actually really easy to learn how to use all the tools. We also started making flags with signs of freedom on them. It was really fun. I'm also really looking forward to meeting Steve Shanklin, author of King George Ulysses Problem, a really informational and funny book about the American Revolution. The American Revolution unit was really fun. It's actually my favorite unit now. Thank you for listening to my unit.
My name is Reese. Oh.
Talk about the experience.
Hi, my name is Reese.
What is this? Tell them what this is.
Using the board was very helpful because it keeps my group organized. Also, doing groups is not that fun because we argue and disagree a lot. My favorite part of the American Revolution is the Boston Tea Party. I like it because I thought it was cool how so many people got together to throw tea off a ship. Did you know the Boston Tea Party wasn't called the Boston Tea Party until 1825? I liked the debate, but I didn't like it at the same time because I wanted to be a loyalist. But I liked my group because I don't usually get in groups with them all the time. I really liked King George, What Was His Problem? Because I liked the illustrations and it made history fun. I also liked it because it was easy to take notes on. And I'm excited to do the Zoom with the author because I think it'll be really fun. Building the boat so far is really fun. I'm really excited for when they're done because I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll look really cool. Drawing something that symbolizes freedom was hard for me, but I did it. Overall, I really liked the American Revolution. For the most part, it was really fun, but sometimes it got hard and boring.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tyson, and this night I will talk about my experience and reflect on my process while working on the American Revolution. I'll share things I liked and enjoyed, as well as things I found boring and less interesting. I hope you enjoy. My favorite event I learned about was the Battle of Lexington and Concord. I was intrigued when researching about Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. He must have been so exhausted after his long expedition, but he still pushed through despite all his challenges. My least favorite event I learned about was the First Continental Congress. Before I learned about this historic moment, I was looking forward to it. However, after I completely lost interest. Most of my boredom was due to the fact that the meeting had barely any fascinating facts. My favorite project that I completed was my American Revolution timeline. I really enjoyed piecing together main facts and several events in an organized way. I was proud and satisfied with my final result of the timeline. My least favorite project that I completed was the team debate. I wanted to be on the Loyalist side, but instead I was placed on one of the Patriot teams. I wanted to be a Loyalist because I thought it would be more fun and interesting to represent a side
that has been as talked about during this revolution. Something to look forward to is meeting with Steve Shankin, the author of King George, What Was His Problem? I found him slightly sarcastic and very humorous. This will be one of my first times meeting with an author that wrote a book that I enjoyed listening to. The American Revolution made me realize a lot about myself. I never realized just how much I enjoy action and suspense. In all, I appreciate my time working on the American Revolution because I learned some of the most important moments of our nation. Thank you for listening to my night.
Hello. In my night, I will tell you all about the American Revolution unit. At first, I thought the unit would be so boring, but I was proved wrong. As I learned more, it got more and more interesting. Do you want to know what made me like it? Then follow me throughout my presentation. My first thing I liked was the virtual field trip. I was lucky and got to take something to the whole fourth grade. I said to them about how someone felt during this time. Overall, the field trip was really fun. I also learned a lot about the Boston Tea Party. Another really fun part was working in my groups. It was the first time we all got different job seats. I was the fact taking. Each time I found a fact you know, I would give it to the writers. Also, when my teacher read us a book about the American Revolution, we would write about it. One thing I did not like were all the acts, but the political cartoons were really fun. I did my cartoon about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. I made the British say, I should have fought for the French, and now I hate the king. I thought the debate was really fun. It was very realistic with the podium and audience who was staring at me. There was even a rebuttal, which made me feel like a politician. I really like saying my reasons and examples to my classmates. Also, that is very good practice for future debates. I found the boat was the most fun of all. We got to use drills, hammers, and we got to sand. I like drilling the most. We built one of the boats of the Boston Tea Party. It was pretty big, and we could fit in them. Even though the boats were hard to build, I loved it. Overall, I found the American Revolution one of the most interesting things I've ever learned. I had lots of fun during the series. I'm going to know that. Thank you for listening and watching my night. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Hello, my name is Jacinta and welcome to my night. This presentation is about the American Revolution and the process of how I got all the information in these slides. I hope you enjoy. When we did the French and Indian War, I thought that real Indians, not British people, would be fighting the war and the war would have nothing to do with the revolution. But the war was a whole start because if it had been the French who had won, the whole course of history could have changed. Mrs. Volpe read a book called King George, What Was His Problem? It is pretty funny. Today, we'll get to meet Steve Shankin, the author, on Zoom. I'm really excited about it. We went on a virtual field trip to Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum and learned all about the ships in the Boston Tea Party. A lady dressed up as a colonial settler and acted it out. I wish I could have been chosen for role-playing, but it was still fun to listen to the role-players. Boat building was probably the most fun part of it all. We worked hard and the finished result was pretty satisfying. It was also fun to showcase it in the courtyard where everybody could see it. We did a debate with lawyers and patriots. I was a lawyerist and we had a lot of fun in our groups. We merged groups with another lawyerist group once and worked and shared information. In my opinion, the American Revolution has been pretty fun. I liked being in my group, and my group was really helpful. I hope this night was as fun for you as it was for me. Thank you for listening to my night.
Hi, today I'll be telling you about the American Revolution. During the American Revolution unit, I had an awesome time.
One of my favorite parts of the American Revolution unit was the Battle of Lexington and Concord. I'll be showing you what I found challenging and interesting. While I was learning about the Battle of Lexington and Concord, I had a fun time working with my group. I was pretty surprised that the colonists won the fight with so few people, and I was also surprised that the colonists assembled a military with little or no experience. Doing the political cartoon and research boards were pretty fun. For the political cartoon, I worked with Jake, and for the research board, I worked with Tyson, Cindy, and Neil. I had a fun time working on the political cartoon and research board. Reading King George, What Was His Problem by Steve Shankin is a very good book. I thought he mixed in some funny parts, but while still focusing on the American Revolution. I cannot wait to Zoom with Steve Shankin and also to finish reading his book. Learning about the Boston Tea Party was pretty fun. We got to Zoom with Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum, which helped me learn about it. My favorite part when everyone screamed his off. I cannot wait to learn more about the Boston Tea Party. Building the boat involved in the Boston Tea Party was fun. We got to sand the wood, use drills, and use hammers. I cannot wait to finish building the boat. Also, I thought it was cool that we can make flags for the boat. I didn't enjoy the debate. I thought it was stressful to make very good points. I was a patriot. My group was Nicholas, Logan, and Reese. I think the Patriots won, in my opinion. Thank you for listening to my Ignite about the American Revolution.
Hi, my name is Anastasia. Welcome to my American Revolution Unit Ignite. This was a really fun unit, and I hope you enjoy you learning about my struggles, fun things, hard things, and boring things in this unit. So let's get started. The first thing I did was get together with my group. Me, Ollie, Charlotte, and Sam. I like my group because there's a different mix of personalities. Charlotte was the writer, Ollie and I shared our notes, and Sam was the one who balanced everything by sharing his thoughts on things. After I got familiar with my group, I learned about 6 main events leading up to the American Revolution. Out of all of them, my favorite was the Battle of Lexington and Concord. The one, it had a lot of action, and the second was I really enjoyed learning about Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. One thing I really enjoyed doing was reading the book King George, What Was His Problem? This book was by Steve Shankin. This book was about the steps leading up to the American Revolution. It was funny, but it had a lot of facts in it at the same time. One of my struggles was writing on the board. There's a lot to write, and sometimes my group got distracted while writing. But we managed to get it together, and at the end we got some really strong pieces of good information. One thing I enjoyed doing was the American Revolution timeline. It was fun to be creative. I also liked the boat build, because it was fun to use sandpaper, drills, hammers, and even nails and screws. We built one of the boats in the Boston Tea Party. Thank you for listening to my Ignite. This was a really fun unit. I hope that one day you will learn about the American Revolution and have so much fun, just like I did. Thank you for listening to my Ignite. I hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, I'm Zach. Today I'll be talking to you about my American Revolution unit. If you haven't studied this unit already, then I urge you to study it because it was really fun and there was a lot of stuff and facts to learn about during this American Revolution unit. I like the board. I really like the board because it helped us stay organized, stay on track, and help us keep our facts in one place so when we did our timeline, we know where to go and find our notes. I like building the boats in the Boston Tea Party. I really like building these boats. We got to do many stuff such as hammering, drilling, and even sanding. A fun additional part of this was that we got to make our own flags that symbolized freedom in the American Revolution. I like the timeline because I got to share facts and stuff on events that we did in the American Revolution. I also really liked the Unite because we got to share our group work and partnerships that we did in the American Revolution. Toward the end, we did political cartoons. These were really fun. Anything that we learned in the American Revolution, we just had to think of it and make a joke out of it. Mine was King George thinking America should now be a free country. When we did our timeline, we used 6 main events. They were the French and Indian War and many taxation events. My favorite was the Boston Tea Party. Did you know that there was nearly $1 million worth of tea dumped into the Boston Harbor? In all, I really liked the American Revolution unit. Some stuff were hard, some stuff were challenging, and some stuff were easy. But in all, I really like this unit. Thank you for listening to my Ignite. Hi, welcome to my Ignite. My name is Kaden, and I'm going to speak about my American Revolution unit. This is honestly a really fun unit, even though I thought it was going to be boring. So, does this seem interesting to you? Well, keep on listening. I thought the timeline was really fun to me because we got to write and learn all about the 6 main events leading up to the American Revolution: the French and Indian War, the Standback, the Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, and the Declaration of Independence. It was really fun, and I want to keep on that. My favorite event was the Battle of Lexington and Concord because it had a lot of action. My least favorite part was the note-taking because it was sometimes very boring. I liked working in groups, but my group had some troubles, but I managed to pull it off because of that. I thought the field for our belt was super fun, and I got to see what it was like to be in the shoes of a fisher. Also, I was shocked to learn that $1.7 million worth of shoes dumped off the ship that night. I was also blown away by the fact that it was. I personally loved the boat. I got to learn so much about the parts of the boat they carried the tea. I got to learn how to use a drill, hammer, and how to use sandpaper. All the 4th grade classes worked together to create one really big boat. Also, the boat is big enough you can sit in it. The debate was also very interesting, but it was a little harder than the time because we had to agree on reasons and also find evidence for our reasons. But it was really cool to feel like a lawyer. I also love the experience of sitting on the boat. I love feeling like a lawyer. The American Revolution has been a really fun project. On this project, I've learned that you should always work hard and you will reward you. I hope that one day you will get to do this too. So thank you for listening to my Ignite, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, my name is Abby. In class, I've been learning about the American Revolution. This unit was so fun and exciting, and I felt like there was a surprise around every corner. The unit was set up in a way that we learned one thing after another in the American Revolution. I will also tell you what I liked and what I disliked about the unit. I didn't like learning about the French and Indian War. It was boring. I didn't like learning about the French and Indian War. It was boring because we watched so many videos and read so many articles. Also, at the start of the unit, so I didn't really know how to combine my notes with my apartment notes. I was really interested in the Boston Tea Party. I was interested in the Boston Tea Party because I liked how many perspectives there were. I also liked how all the action. We went in and seen with the Boston Tea Party ships and museum. I didn't like the part where some of my classmates got to act out a scene. I wish I could too. I really liked the research books. I thought they were a great way to keep all my research in one place, tidy and neat. In the beginning, my group and I were a little shaky, but in the end, we got together and had a really great time. I liked learning about Paul Revere and his and Billy Dawes' Midnight Ride. I didn't know that there were 2 people on the famous Midnight Ride. I wish I could find more information on this event because it was so interesting and fun to learn. We are building a boat, and I'm surprised to learn that I liked building the panels and using all the tools. I'm also looking forward to meeting Steve Shankin. He is the author of King George, What Was His Problem? I got a lot of information off this book, and some information I didn't get in other books. In conclusion, I thought the American Revolution unit was so fun and interesting. I liked all the teamwork and hope to do something like this in the future. I had a great experience.
Learning about the American Revolution taught me one very important unit: stand back and then take action at the right time.
Hello everyone. Today I'll walk you through what I think is the difficult, easy, fun, and boring things of this unit. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is our American Revolution board. It was so much fun working in the group. I always hope to see it on the schedule. We didn't have the best group communication, but besides that, it was amazing. I learned some interesting facts, like did you know 4 ships could have been involved in the Boston Tea Party? The second thing I want to talk about is King George, What's His Problem by Steve Jenkins. Every line made me want to listen more. This book was full of facts, like did you know the cloud lines of One of My Land, Two of By Sea were related to Paul Revere's Midnight Ride? Third is our debate groups. It was so much fun. We were loyalists, so we had to discuss the challenge. Again, we didn't have the best group communication, but besides that, it was a blast. Miss Volpe put up a podium and made it so realistic. The fourth thing I want to talk about is the political cartoons. It was so much fun, maybe even the best thing in the season, because you had to put your sense of comedy and make a cartoon about it. And guess what? It was political. I was really proud of mine. Last but definitely not least is Miss Boyer and the boat build. We were making a replica of the boat attacked in the Boston Tea Party. It was so much fun sanding, drilling, and even cleaning up at the end of the day. Miss Boyer said we had the strongest class. There are so many other fun things in this unit, but I'm running out of time. So before I go, I just want to say thank you for listening to my Ignite.
Hi, I'm Natalia, and I'm going to tell you about my experience running the American Revolution unit. We have done many different things. I have really enjoyed learning about the American Revolution so far. I think it has been really interesting. I really liked the debate. I liked my group. They were really easy to get along with. And I especially liked doing a rap for a part of the debate. Writing and performing it was a really cool experience. My group worked really hard and had a lot of fun. My favorite part about the American Revolution is the Boston Tea Party. When someone first mentioned it, I thought it was going to be a real tea party, but I was surprised when I found out it actually wasn't. And I think it was really cool how they dumped nearly $1 million worth of tea into Boston Harbor. My research group was really helpful. We got along mostly. Sometimes it was a little hard to communicate, but at the end we got the work done and we had a lot of fun. Without them, I wouldn't have learned and understood as much as I did. Starting to build a ship is really fun. I can't wait to see it all put together. I didn't really like sanding the wood, but I did like decorating the flag and getting to work with tools. I had a lot of fun making my political cartoon, even though it was kind of hard to come up with something to make it about. I made mine about the thoughts of the animals under the sea during the Boston Tea Party. In conclusion, this whole unit was interesting, fun, I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you liked hearing about my experience, and thanks for listening to my Ignite.
Hi, I'm Blake. Today I'll be talking about my experience during the American Revolution. During this project, we made cool and amazing things to share with you today. I'm Blake, and I hope you enjoy my life. The first thing I made was the American Revolution research board. On it were the 7 main events and when they took place. I thought this was cool but also challenging. The most challenging thing was getting the right information from the resources that we were given to then plan a research board. Overall, it was great. My 2 favorite events by far were the Boston Tea Party and Lexington and Concord. I like Lexington and Concord the most because a lot of people died, which makes it very suspenseful. Overall, I liked them too. We just came back last week from the Boston Tea Parties in June. It was amazing. I was told that some of the tea crates were up to 400 pounds. The only thing I didn't like about this game was the fact that not everyone got a 10 times. Overall, it was a great experience and I would do it again. In class, we were building mini boats. Despite the fact I'm not good with tools, I really like using tools. We use tools such as hammers, drills, nails, screws, and more. In class, we're reading a book called King George Was Strong. I really like this book because we get to see the taking perspective of the American Revolution, but we also see a little bit of King George's perspective of the American Revolution. If you ask me, that's a pretty cool book. For conclusion, this was a very fun unit with the book to Zoom, but most importantly, the night that you're listening to right now. I'm Rick and I hope you enjoyed my night.
Hi, I am Ryla, and my night is about the American Revolution. There were many fun activities in this unit, and I absolutely loved it. And we had a debate. My book for the debate made a rap. It was a blast performing the rap and making our points for the debate. The American Revolution started after the French and Indian War. The colonies wanted their freedom from Britain. They had a war. America won the war and got their freedom. We made a timeline of the revolution to show those events. It was fun to work with my group. We did a lot of work. We also saw a lot of videos, and we made a poster. Our poster started off with little words, but over time, more than half of our poster was filled with our research. I also saw a couple of good videos myself, but my favorite was definitely Liberty Kids. I wrote a lot of notes on Liberty Kids, and I enjoyed learning about each and every event. I would definitely recommend Liberty Kids to you guys. Ms. Volpe also read us a great book called King George, Opposite Problem, by an author named Steve Shankin. I cannot wait to have a Zoom with him, which is actually later today. My favorite part of the book was the battles of Lexington and Concord, which includes part of your midnight ride. As I said, I enjoyed working with my group, but what I enjoyed most was talking about the American Revolution with them. We also built a boat with Ms. Boyer. Building the boat was really fun. We got to use hammers, drills, nails, and more. And the finished result looks amazing. In conclusion, I love the American Revolution unit so much. And I also love history, so this unit was very fun for me. I love presenting my Ignite to you, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I would also like to take this opportunity to give a big thanks to Mr. Gasal for helping each student with the process of their Ignite. And I would also like to make a big thanks to Ms. Volpe and Ms. Clark for giving each student a lot of confidence and helping them with their steps.
And finally, thank you to parents for watching and supporting us. Thank you for listening to our review.
Thank you so much, everybody. As I'm sure you feel the same way that I do, is that they are incredibly special and impressive kids. Thank you so much for sharing them with me and this experience. They are behind me, ready to go crazy, so I'm going to let them cheer because they want to let you know how happy they are.